What do you do to protect yourself with copyright? Let me show you all for a moment how to create copyrightable subject matter. Okay, everybody have a blank sheet of paper in front of them. Show you how to create copyrightable subject matter. Write a little bit about your thoughts that you were having on the way to this program today. We're recording, so I'm not going to give you a long moments up. Congratulations! You've created copyrightable subject matter. That's protected by copyright right now. That's all you have to do. Copyright exists at the moment of creation. Nothing more needs to be done. So what about all this other stuff? What about these notices you see? What about registration that you hear about? Notice is not required to protect copyright, and registration is not a requirement to have protected copyright. So why do we do it? Another trip. Come with me on another trip to illustrate why we do the notice. A little over 10 years ago, I'm getting on a flight from Chicago to Los Angeles, early in the morning. I'm in the first row behind first class. There's just 2 seats there instead of the usual 3, just 2 of us. My seat companion comes on the plane. Tall man I recognized as a former football star, Heisman Trophy winner, Hertz advertising spokesman. Do you know what I'm saying? This was the day after the O.J. Simpson murders. I'm O.J. Simpson's seat companion, flying from Chicago to Los Angeles the day after the murders. We talk for off and on during the flight, 4-hour flight. I listen to his phone conversations. He makes comments about what's going on. But nobody knew the whole scope of what was going on. At least nobody on the plane knew. It hadn't come out in the news yet. So I'm hearing this story about how his ex-wife has been found dead and he's in shock and can't believe it. I have no idea that he would be accused at the time. But I get to Los Angeles the next morning. I go out as you do outside your door, and there's the newspaper there and the headline. This is not what I expected. My lawyer training kicks in, and I write down notes of everything I can remember. I figured I might be a witness at some point. What was said, what was done on the plane might be relevant. So if it is, I want to make sure I have an accurate record of what I remember, that I can say, I know this happened because I just wrote it down the day after the flight. A little bit of time passes. The defense, the police get in touch with me and want to interview me about what had happened. I said, I have notes from it. They want to see the notes. I figured if anything in my notes had relevance, it should come out in court. Otherwise, it's not going to come out. So I'm thinking about, well, if I send this stuff off, how can I stop people from using this? Talked to some of my friends. I decided I'm going to put a copyright notice on each page. Because I know that when somebody sees a copyright notice, they won't use it. They'll say, I can't copy this, I can't use this. They'll talk to a lawyer. Now, I know I don't need to use a notice to protect those rights. But most people don't know that. Did it work? Not long after I sent the notes off, about 2 or 3 in the morning, I got a call from a lawyer for a major news magazine. Mr. Partridge woke me up early in the morning. Mr. Partridge, we have your notes. We'd like to publish them. Is that okay? No. And that was the end of that. They've never been published, except they were used at the trial. I was a witness. My point in telling you this story is that copyright notice will deter people from stealing your stuff. Whether you want to use it commercially or whether you just don't want them to have it published for some reason, like I did. I had no intent of using it commercially. Some people have said you should do a book. I said, well, you know, at most it'd be a pamphlet. But you don't have to use the notice. My recommendation to you as a professional is that if you are creating material and distributing it, you think it's of value, you want to protect it, put the notice on it. That will deter people from improperly using it and will save you a lot of money. It'll save you untold thousands of dollars from not having to go after somebody in a lawsuit. Probably the biggest benefit I can give you is to keep you from going into a lawsuit, because intellectual property litigation can be hugely expensive.